Hi, my name is Conrad Colman, and this is the 5th installation of Get to Know Imagine. Previously, we've started all of these videos by shaking hand with the previous skipper, but actually we've run out of previous skippers. It's just me now. So jump on board and let me show you around. We've gone through all of this boat's previous skippers. And so we had Quito, Armel, Thomas, Max, and then now finally me. I got this boat in the very end of 2021 and started working on it for the 2022 season, notably with the Route du Rhum. And last year in 2023, I had the chance to, well actually the obligation, to rip all of the old paint off, sand the whole box back to carbon fiber, and even went so far as to get rid of all of the old Group Bell paint from 2008. So we went back archaeological style to get rid of all of the paint layers. And that was primarily because this boat had again identified a weakness in the deck. So there was a small crack here in the time of Max. And so what we did is that by sanding the boat back to carbon, that meant that we could put more new, fresh, clean carbon on board the boat. And so we laid down strips of carbon all the way along the deck, covered those off with new pieces. We did a new skin all the way down the outside of the boat. And then because I want to continue with my ambitions of racing around the world without burning any fossil fuels, without ever starting an engine, well, we pulled in the lifelines and the stanchions, and to create this sort of uninterrupted strip of solar power all the way down each side. Of course, there's more at the back, but we'll see that later. And then other modifications that I brought to this boat is I moved all of the forestays forward. So previously, this stay, the J2, was here, and then the J3 was further back. And so basically what I've done is I've moved all of the sails forward one step. That makes them a little bit bigger, and also allowed me to create a dedicated position for the storm jib, or the J4. Finally, also I'm very excited because I have just received my new sails from One Sails. This is incredibly exciting because in the life of this project, I had only previously bought 2 new sails, the J2 in 2022, and the A2, the big spinnaker. And then everything else, I had been using old sails from Max, and indeed old sails from Thomas. So, you know, when we tell the story of this boat with Max and Thomas, well, they were still there with me right the way along. But this is a fantastic opportunity to bring in new sails for this race, and finally leave with the boat in tip-top condition, optimized as I would have wanted. Come inside to the cockpit, because that's the fun part. We built this new roof last year in the team as well, and so we chopped off the boat at the level of this bulkhead here, and then built this massive new roof that allows me to be safe inside the boat, and then also crucially have this really great helming active watch position where I'm sitting behind 5mm of perspex as the waves of the Southern Ocean crash over my head. The last boat was brutally exposed, and so this is my revenge. What's really cool about that is that all of these boats, these 40 boats here in the village, none of them are identical. They are all a reflection either of their naval architect's ideas or the skipper's desires and ambitions and way of sailing. All of that work, of course, continued inside. Inside the boat, it is dramatically different from how it was with Max as well, because when I got the boat, I wanted to really bring it up to be as modern as possible. And so I chopped out all the floors here, and now that's the bottom of the boat. So we are 40mm away from the sea, and at the very front of the boat, it is just laminated layers of carbon fiber without the foam layers. And so the front of the boat is only 3.5mm thick. Yes, that is terrifying when you say it like that. The reason that I did that is because this used to be ballast, but the way that the rule treated that initially wasn't very efficient. So the rule has evolved subsequently, and now I cut out these ballast tanks and then built these ones. And so it's essentially like having 1,300, yeah, okay, so a rugby team lined up on the side of my boat the whole time, hiking out, only this way I've got ballast and I don't need to buy them beer at the end of the day. So it's cheaper overall. I have to, with every tack or jibe, take all the weight that is here on this one, and chuck it over to here on this one. So that is a crazy, massive job. So I do that in one step. I take it off the bunk and then make it little. But that's a really inefficient way of using my energy. So what we've also invented is, we call this the train. So you can imagine the choo-choo train. We've got 6 of these stacking bags that slide across together. And we've made the whole boat set up so that the weight will slide really easily from one side to the other. So we had to move bits of boat around to make sure that would be easy, but now that system is coming on place. But then finally, the most important role on board the boat, we built this incredible carbon fiber chair here, so it weighs very, very little, and is actually Velcroed to the floor. Because if you can imagine that this boat, when it's sailing, heels at 25 to 30 degrees all the time, and so you really need to stick your butt down onto the bottom of the boat. I have the option of moving this chair around, and even putting it backwards. So as the boat crashes into the waves and accelerates and decelerates, I can be sitting here with my back to the waves and back to any potential collision and be safe and sound. And I mentioned that sleep. Well, sleep is quite a challenge on board, most notably because I always need to be engaged in what's going on around me, both weather and also ships, to avoid a risk of collision and also to make sure that I don't get knocked over by a dark cloud that I'm not anticipating. So that means that I sleep for 20 minutes at a time, and loading those sleeps back to back, I will get maybe 5 hours of sleep per day. And I do that, of course, because this is an extreme racing boat, here. So I have my stacking bags just above me, so I've got a couple of 100 kilos of material above me here, and then I've got a handle to help me get in if the boat is heeling a lot, and then I've got these cloths here that hold me in, and then of course got a nice mattress, because otherwise I'm sleeping on 2/3 of a millimeter of brutally cold carbon fiber. That now is my boat, now that it's mine, and I've been able to bring all of the little modern touches and improvements and optimizations to it. And it's up to you to follow the race and then decide whether you want to come and join me, because the last chapter of this boat has not yet been written and I'm already looking for the new owner. So I'll see you out there.